think that the hardest is find employees. It's been really hard to find good employees and keep the employees. I'm so lucky that I have a staff that it's been with me since I opened the restaurant, and they were working really hard with me, like really, literally like they were the owners too. But it's been really hard. Some people, they just come for a couple of days and they just leave.
She's part of Goldman Sachs' 10,000 Small Businesses Voices program, and a new survey through that organization shows that staffing's a problem all over the place.
We've done 11 surveys since the onset of COVID, and beginning last summer in June, we started to see the data to improve, and then we sort of took a sharp downturn in the fall with our September data, as we spoke about roughly 4 months ago. And I would say the data across the board in this survey, across all the economic conditions, whether we're talking about, workforce related issues in terms of hiring, supply chain disruptions, inflationary pressures, everything has gotten worse since the fall. So I think across the board, it sort of shows a picture that the small business community, is really continuing to struggle. And then you throw in, of course, the Omicron variant, and that is only, further, adding another layer of disruption to their business. So, our data shows that 71% of businesses said they've been negatively impacted in terms of their revenue by the Omicron variant, and obviously the infection rates that have risen across the country. And about a third of businesses have been forced to either temporarily close or scale back their operations. And that obviously jumps to about 50% for restaurants and food and hospitality industry, which obviously is bearing the brunt of a lot of the pain right now. But I think across the board, to your question, we're seeing unfortunately a lot of difficulty for small businesses. Interestingly enough, we asked the question, what's the most challenging issue for right now? And by over a 2-to-1 margin, it was the difficulty with finding either part-time or full-time employees. So 50% of small businesses said that's the number one issue. In comparison, supply chain disruptions was 19%, inflation 18%. So inflation gets, obviously, and it's a huge issue, gets a lot of the media attention, and deservedly so. But I think what's probably underappreciated is how hard it is right now to find employees to fill all these job openings. About 2/3 of small businesses are hiring right now, and very consistently over the last several months, they all say the same thing: they can't find workers.
Does it feel like, based on what you're hearing, is Omicron the primary reason for this hesitancy to get back into the workforce, or are there some other factors here?
I don't think so. In fact, in September, we asked the same exact question. So, are you hiring? Are you having a difficult time finding employees? And it was literally the exact same number in September as it is in our January survey. 87% of small businesses that are hiring are having a tough time, finding qualified workers to fill those openings. What's different now vis-a-vis in September is that when we ask the next question, which is this impacting your bottom line in terms of is it having a real impact to your ability to operate? Back in September, it was a big number. 80% said, yeah, it's having a real impact on my bottom line. Now it's 97%, right? So just about everyone is feeling the pain in a material way to their overall business operations as a result of not, being able to fill those jobs. I anecdotally, spoke to a small business owner yesterday morning from Pennsylvania, who woke up to the fact that 2 of her employees were not able to come in that day because of a variety of reasons, both Omicron related due to childcare and the disruptions that are causing through school closings and the like. And then one of her employees decided to go work at a larger employer for $26 an hour. So, I think that's a story that a lot of small business owners could tell you right now, and that the disruptions caused by the variant are, of course, impactful. But I think the difficulty with hiring is something that, quite frankly, we've seen over the last 4 months.
Will you talk about that a little bit? For small businesses, they're talking to the potential workforce, and there does seem to be this theme right now where workers are using this as an opportunity to make more money, in some cases significantly more money, but a small business may not have the ability, like a larger corporation can do, to do a sizable bump in pay, right? And along with benefits too. So you're talking to businesses all over the country. What are you advising them on? What can they do here if they don't have the ability to raise somebody's pay $5 an hour or whatever the dollar amount is? Is there something else they can do to help them navigate their way through and recruit and retain?
Well, it's so part of it obviously is wage related. There's also, a real dynamic in that, a lot of small businesses can't compete from a benefits perspective. So another question, we actually asked in our survey, which was not, included in the data that we shared in our press release, is that, roughly only 41%, to be exact, of small businesses offer retirement benefits to their employees. So there's a huge, gap there for the small business community in terms of, being able to afford retirement benefits and offer those to their employees. So that's, an issue that we're really focused on, and are going to work with, hopefully Congress in terms of helpfully addressing that sort of benefit gap that clearly exists for not only a lot of Americans, but a lot of small businesses and their employees. So that's a big issue in terms of competing with large corporations that can offer, a variety of benefits, which are very attractive, to employees, especially those with families. And then on the wage side, I think what we've seen consistently is that small businesses are increasing their wages. It's just, it may not be quite as high as some of the corporations are able to offer at this time, because to your point, right, they just have a lot more flexibility in terms of both their bottom line and where they can devote resources, particularly in the short term. But I think the wage inflation theme, is definitely one that, you're seeing across the board, whether it's, big corporations are having to pay a lot more, and that's obviously having a trickle down effect to everyone.
Up next, whether a state lawmaker's gesture can help him communicate.